Every warrior walks a different path. Samurai, the path of discipline. Ronin, the path of independence. Ninja, the path of strategy. Zen monk, the path of wisdom. Shogun, the path of power. But today, we explore the path of the rule yourself before you rule anything. Look at your life. You wake up long after the sun has breached the horizon, your limbs heavy, and your focus entirely shattered by a complete lack of internal structure. You promise yourself that today you will finally take command of your chaotic finances, your unformed ambitions, and your decaying health. Yet by midday, you have surrendered to the path of absolute ease. You are the mediocre person. You live in a state of quiet desperation, managing just enough effort to avoid total disaster while allowing your internal kingdom to slide into permanent ruin. You blame your lack of external authority. You tell yourself that if you only had more money, a higher title, or a team of submissive people to command, your self-discipline would naturally fall into place. It is a pathetic, cowardly delusion born of deep somatic rot. You are a psychological slave demanding an external empire while your own internal territory is completely overrun by wild desires and lawless habits. The paradox is absolute. By waiting for the world to grant you power before you learn to govern your own flesh, you ensure you remain exactly where you belong, buried in the mud of insignificance. There is a hidden, terrible architecture to this failure. Every single time you let your base impulses overrule your logical intent, you accrue a massive internal debt that breaks your mental strength. And the terrifying mystery you refuse to face is that the absolute chaos of your daily routine is not a result of poor circumstances. It is a direct consequence of your total refusal to rule yourself. The ancient world had absolutely no room for the lawless. In the bleeding, mud-soaked ecosystem of feudal Japan, an individual who could not command his own impulses did not just lose his influence. He lost his territory and his head. The ruling elite didn't view authority as a privilege born of land or birthright, but as a severe, unyielding discipline forged through absolute self-governance. Your true internal enemy is not a demanding supervisor, an unfair market, or a complex modern landscape. Your true enemy is the internal coward that demands external obedience while its own mind is entirely unpolished and out of control. You have traded the deep, sovereign gold of absolute self-mastery for the cheap, erratic copper coins of instant gratification. To maintain structural alignment over millions of subjects across an unstable nation, the upper echelon did not rely on hollow titles. They established a crushing standard of identity that began inside their own quarters. The modern mediocre person lives in a state of perpetual psychological decay because he seeks to control others before conquering himself, while the historical rulers used a precise system to turn internal order into an unyielding shield of absolute dominance. This structural system was crystallized in the Shogunate Self-Governance Code, an atmospheric and rigorous operational protocol born from the brutal necessity of the Sengoku period. Documented historical records confirm that these codes of internal regulation were not poetic essays on morality, but strict mechanical protocols designed to maintain supreme mental strength beneath crushing strategic pressure. The mechanics of this daily system were entirely unyielding. Inside the cold, stone-walled pavilions of Edo and Kyoto, a ruler would operate under an iron schedule that regulated every breath, every posture, and every movement of his waking hours. Long before the morning signal fires were lit, he sat alone in a freezing chamber, fixing his focus through absolute silence, purging all personal desires before issuing a single decree to his generals. The sensory precision of this reality was severe. The scent of damp pine needles, the smell of burning tallows, the heavy weight of formal robes pressing into the shoulders, and the total silence of a grand hall were all handled with an unblinking gaze. It is said in popular Japanese legend that a true master of this code could sit motionless for an entire day while an empire collapsed around him, his internal focus completely unbothered by external chaos. While this unverified tradition highlights their mythic aura, historical accounts verify the hard truth. The governance code was a calculated mechanical lockdown of one's own impulses, built on the principle that a person who cannot rule his own day has absolutely no right to rule a nation. To execute the mechanics of the Shogunate Self-Governance Code in your modern life, you must implement its strict structural steps immediately. First, you establish absolute environmental domain. The moment your eyes open, you strip your morning of all options, choices, and background noise, forcing your body into a rigid pattern of immediate execution. Second, you implement the protocol of internal audit. You treat every unpolished desire, lazy thought, or urge for comfort as an internal rebellion that must be immediately crushed by your logical will. Third, you practice sovereign alignment. You ensure that before you attempt to direct any project, lead any person, or alter any external circumstance, your own physical frame and mental space are in a state of perfect order. The visceral weight of this practice removes the luxury of self-pity. When a man consistently forces his animal nature to submit to an unyielding internal code, the superficial distractions of modern society lose all power to break his focus. He no longer requires external motivation to build his bad habits away. The rigid dominion over his own micro-choices creates a crushing momentum that forces his potential to manifest. The shogunate used this precise system to survive their hostile world, transforming internal order into an impenetrable fortress of Bushido philosophy and warrior mindset. The mechanics of your failure are simple. You mistake the desire for success with the capacity for leadership. You tell yourself you want to achieve greatness, when in reality, you're simply too soft to face the immediate friction of managing your own hours. Every single time you delay a hard task or choose a comfortable alternative, you are conceding defeat to your internal enemy, proving that you are unfit to rule a single room, let alone an empire. You have become a somatic drifter, completely dependent on external pressure to move your limbs, because your internal authority is entirely non-existent. If you want to break this cycle of mediocrity, you must adopt the severe, uncompromising mechanics of the Shogunate codes. You must realize that your daily routine is the ultimate blueprint of your destiny, and a king who leaves his own palace in chaos will eventually watch his entire world burn to the ground. Govern the self. Stop. Look at your posture right now. You are listening to these words, feeling a temporary surge of adrenaline, imagining the unyielding authority you will display tomorrow while remaining completely passive in this exact second. But the truth is, the moment this video concludes, your mediocrity will demand to be fed again. You will slip straight back into your loose, unpolished behaviors because your mind is absolutely terrified of the heavy weight of self-determination. Inspiration is the drug of the weak. The ruler does not look for an emotional high to execute his code. He moves because his warrior mindset has turned self-discipline into a non-negotiable law of his identity. If you are going to continue living as a fragile creature who demands respect from the world but cannot even command his own hands to work, turn this off right now. This way of the warrior is reserved exclusively for those willing to bear the heavy crown of absolute concentration. Self-mastery is a lonely, silent road. It requires you to stand completely naked in your choices, forcing your animal instincts to obey your logical commands while your mind craves ease and distraction. No more demanding external power when your internal territory is in total shambles. No more using poor circumstances as a shield to hide your complete lack of internal guts. Let the flesh suffer through the boredom of structure. Let the modern world marvel at your sudden, unyielding capacity for deep execution. The era of your passive stagnation is dead. Step onto the golden path of the Shogun. Lock your senses onto the sovereign code before you, and let your internal governance become a weapon that nothing can break. Command your world. Every warrior walks a different path. Samurai, the path of discipline. Ronin, the path of independence. Ninja, the path of strategy. Zen monk, the path of wisdom. Shogun, the path of power. Which one are you? Comment below.